Hi there. It is time to start potting up baby seedlings into some slightly bigger pots and get them some better nutrition by putting them in a more standard potting mix type of mixture instead of the seed starting mix. So let me get my camera set up and I'll show you how we do this. I've got a couple of different kinds of seedlings that I'm going to be potting up today. Actually, more than a couple, but the process is basically the same for all of them. So these are the trays that I started these seedlings in. You can see that the cells are not super small. Some trays that you can start seeds in have cell sizes that are not maybe about half as big as this. And so you definitely would want to get your seedlings potted up as soon as they start to get some true leaves. You can see that in these, I've got, in some of them, there's 2 seedlings in each cell. It just depended on how many seeds there were in the packs. So these are annual geraniums, and you can also see, a couple of things I want to share with you about these seedlings, because these are a really good example. The leaves that you see that look like this, those are true leaves. So that is what the leaves will look like on the mature plant. These here that are turning it's kind of a pretty pink, but might make you a little nervous to see. These are actually the seed leaves, also called, I think, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, cotyledons maybe. But basically these are the leaves that come out when the seedling or the seed first germinates, and they help get the plant going, but they aren't needed once the plant really starts to get established. So those do eventually kind of do what these are. They kind of start to look kind of sad, and eventually they'll just fall off. You can see these over here are looking like they're about ready to come off. So these are ready, I think, to be potted up. These are in some trays that I got from Bootstrap Farmer. I really like that they're clear, so I could see, looking in here, that there's some places where I can see a little bit of root development, but they're not like busting out. So in reality, I could maybe leave them in here a little bit longer, but a lot of these already have 2 true leaves. These seed leaves are not looking super great. There's not a ton of soil mixture that's in each cell. So I'd like to go ahead and pot them up into some pots that are a little bit bigger. These are, I think, 2.5 inches wide squares, but they're much deeper. And I'm putting in here an actual traditional potting mix. It's also from Espoma, same company that I got my seed starting mix. So this has more nutrients in it. Plus I added a little bit of starter fertilizer, also from Espoma. I just like that company because a lot of their products are organic and very gentle, and I don't have to worry about things maybe being too strong, burning the roots of the tender seedlings. Anyways, so it's a little bit bigger space. I'm going to try to probably put 1 seedling per, and this will just give these seedlings enough room to potentially grow until it's time to plant them out later this spring. That's my hope. And it will also make it easier and to keep them with a consistent amount of moisture, because this will hold on to more moisture than these guys. These guys are starting to dry out pretty quick. So basically what you do is we're going to pop these out of their little cell. And I also like these trays that they have these nice big holes in the bottom. The soil mix doesn't come out, but it makes it a lot easier to kind of poke and get the seedling out. So I just give that a little gentle poke, and then I'm going to give this a little bit of a pull, and I'm going to grab onto the compacted up dirt mix as soon as I can to support the seedling. And then you can see this is kind of dry, even though I've been watering these. You can see they do have some roots kind of sticking out, but basically the process is you take the new little pot and put some of moistened potting mix in there, make a little hole in the middle that this can fit in. I give it just a very gentle squeeze to kind of loosen up anything that might be kind of compacted with that starting mix, and then I just stick it down in that hole and kind of squish down gently to get it in there so that there are no air pockets. I don't want to compact it and make it be like a brick, but I also don't want there to be air pockets because the roots won't like that. And there it is. So seedling transplanted, you can see it's got much more room in here. It's got a nice deep container. So this should, I think, get me all the way till it's time to transplant in a couple, 3 months now. So this then is going to go in a tray and we'll just continue potting these up. So when you get to the ones where you've got more than one seedling in a cell, you're still going to start the same way, pop it out. And I'm going to give it that gentle squeeze before I start to put it in the pot, because what I want to do is get these to kind of naturally release from each other on their own. So I'm just going to kind of gently kind of tap the root ball seedling mixture. I'm just going to give it a few gentle squeezes and taps. And look, they just come straight apart. And that's another reason why I'm doing this while they're still probably could stay in there a little bit longer room-wise. This is why I'm doing it now. All of those cells that have more than one seedling are going to be really easy to get apart. They're not going to be too entangled yet because they've still had a good amount of room in there for the size. But look, we've got plenty of root development. We've got at least 2 true leaves. These are ready. Now for these, when I put them in these pots that are bigger, I don't need to make nearly as big of a little hole because they don't have as much stuff on their roots. So I'm just going to use one finger and kind of make like a slightly larger than a pencil, and then gently guide those roots down in there. Let me see if I can get that closer so you can see. So I'm just going to kind of gently guide the roots so that they're going in the hole. I don't want any of those roots riding around on the top. I'm going to tuck the dirt around and then start to gently kind of pack it in. Again, gently tapping it down, not really like compacting it. We don't want a brick. That will be harder for the roots to grow through. And there we go. That guy's ready. Do the same thing with the rest of them. Here we go. So that little cell pack of 6 cells ended up with 8 of these 2.5 inch pots. You can see on this last one that those seed leaves kind of came off while I was potting this up. I think that should be fine. Even though this looks rather still small and only has 1 leaf, it had a decent amount of roots, so I think it'll be okay. Something else that I'm going to do with all of these is tomorrow I'm going to give everything a very light watering with some half strength organic liquid fertilizer added into the water, just to also give them an extra little nitrogen boost and nutrient boost that is a little faster to be taken up because of it being in that liquid form. And then the slow release stuff that I put in the starter fertilizer was in a more powder form. So that'll be something that'll just be in the potting mix available to them as they are growing. And then I will continue to do that half strength fertilizer as a liquid added into their watering probably once every week or every 2 weeks. And that will help keep things growing and thriving. So I'm going to do the other geraniums the same way. Don't need to put that in the video. Watch that over and over again. I also have some Echinacea. Now, I also had some Echinacea that I already had potted up in some cell packs that look like this. And they seem to be doing okay. I think they definitely need some fertilizer. There's 1 or 2 that I don't think are loving life. I may have potted them up a little early, but I'm going to go ahead and do these as well again because there's 3 or more of some of these. The cells are just drying out really quickly. So I'm going to try these in some of these cell packs or these pots and see if they like it maybe a little bit better. So I don't need to film that for you. It's basically the same process. I'm going to make another video of some other things I'll be potting up. I think it's mostly violas and pansies. It'll be a very similar process, but the kind of dividing them up will look a little bit different because there's a lot more of them in their cells. So that'll be a separate video. Thanks for joining me here in Aunt Susan's garden as we start potting up some baby seedlings.